You know, Carrie, I've never expected much from you. Ever since the day you and my son were married, I've known that you would disappoint me until the end of my days. But never in my wildest dreams did I imagine you would be as brazenly disrespectful to me as you've been today.
Mom? What's the matter? I'm sorry, I don't have the slightest clue what you're angry about. I mean, I haven't even spoken to you yet today.
Goodness gracious, girl. You're not just disrespectful, you're painfully stupid to boot. No, you have not spoken to me yet today, which is precisely the issue. It has now been Christmas for 16 hours, and yet you have neither called nor texted us to wish us a Merry Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry? Merry Christmas, Mom.
Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. You're so ignorant that you don't even know to wish us a Merry Christmas without being reminded?
I'm sorry, Mom. I just thought that since we were going to be heading over to your house tomorrow, I'd wait until then to wish you a Merry Christmas in person.
Ah, I see. You don't think we're good enough to get a Merry Christmas out of you on Christmas Day. We only deserve Christmas leftovers that were left out on the counter overnight and reheated in the microwave. Thank you, Carrie, for making it very clear how you feel about us.
That's not true at all. I'm sorry that I was late in wishing you a Merry Christmas, Mom. I'll try to do better next year, I guess.
See to it that you do. Heavens to Betsy, girl. You're lucky I have your number. I'm much more lenient about these things than the rest of the family. Since it seems that you've had some sense slapped into you, be sure and message all of our relatives saying Merry Christmas as well. And be timely about it.
Yes, Mom. I'll get right on that.
Really? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, making me this angry on Christmas Day. You're not a child anymore, so stop acting like it.
Yes, Mom.
So, you are all coming to my house tomorrow, correct?
That's right. We've been planning on that for a few weeks now.
My daughter and her family will be here, as well as a few of our other relatives. Do not do anything to embarrass me. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Mom. Crystal clear.
And, since you're clearly utterly senseless about Christmas etiquette, let me fill you in on a few other essentials. Though it may not be Christmas Day, we are still celebrating Christmas, and you will dress appropriately. I've seen how you dress normally, and that absolutely will not fly. And be sure to put on some proper makeup as well.
What's wrong with how I normally dress? I may not be as much of a flashy dresser, but I've made honest efforts to dress well when I come over to your house.
Goodness gracious, you call that drab and honest effort? You don't know the first thing about fashion. Just find a picture of my daughter and copy her as best as you can. That's your only hope. They don't let the fact that they're married and have children of their own interfere with looking presentable. Unlike you, they haven't discarded their femininity like yesterday's rubbish.
Okay, how about I ask your daughter for some makeup tips when I see her tomorrow? Like I said, I've never been much of a flashy dresser. I'm sure there's a lot I could learn from her.
Yes, that would be for the best. Lord knows you need expert help. Whenever we have any sort of family gathering, you're always standing out, and it's not in a good way. If something isn't done about your homeliness soon, you'll never be anything but a constant source of humiliation to our family.
I'd hate for that to happen.
Now, I will allow you to ask my daughter for advice. However, be sure that you maintain a proper stature. You are in the position of a student begging for the instruction of a seasoned professional. I expect nothing but humility and deference out of you, so your usual haughty attitude will simply not cut it.
You think I'm haughty? I don't think that's fair.
Of course it's fair. Don't think I haven't seen the way you carry yourself around my husband. He's your father-in-law, and yet you treat him as though he were one of your old school friends.
Actually, that's the way your husband prefers it. He said he wants to have a friendly relationship with me.
Nonsense. Utter nonsense. I don't believe you. But even if he did tell you such a scandalous thing, you can disregard it. You need to know your place. You are his daughter-in-law. He is your father-in-law. Act like it.
Yes, Mom.
I'll be watching you tomorrow, Carrie. Don't think I'm going to let you get away with any inappropriate behavior. son was always perfectly well behaved, even as a young child. There's no way he could produce such a wild and uncontrolled child. It's obviously your negative influence on Annie that's to blame for her accident today.
I suppose it is. Sorry, Mom.
It would be one thing if she were a boy. Boys are naturally more energetic than girls. But for a girl to be so troublesome is simply unheard of. Are you certain she doesn't have some sort of issue, so to speak?
Well, she's ordinarily a much calmer girl, but Christmas was yesterday. She's really into the holiday spirit, I guess. That, and she's excited about getting to play with her cousins at your house today. She was running out to the car when she fell, so I'm guessing that's it.
It sounds to me like you have failed at teaching her how to control your own emotions. That's yet another thing today that is entirely your fault. You failed to leave on time because your daughter can't control herself, and she can't control herself because you failed her. And troublesome as her is any grandchild of mine.
I am absolutely appalled that you would talk like this about Annie. What is it about Annie that you hate so much anyway? Is it just the fact that she's my daughter?
It's not just that she's your daughter. It's that she inherited all of your worst qualities, and none of my son's. She's like a more refined version of everything that I find deplorable about you.
You want to know what your heartless words today did to Annie? She is currently in her room crying into her pillow. I can't imagine how much it must have hurt to be treated that way by her own grandmother. It's not in my power to control how you feel about me or my daughter. But at the very least, I'd like to think someone your age would know that there are some things that shouldn't be said out loud. Especially not to a child. Why did you go out of your way to hurt her feelings?
It's not my fault she can't accept the truth. Santa only gives presents to good boys and girls. Didn't you know that? If she wants to get a Christmas present, then she needs to be a good child like all my other grandchildren. Compared to all of them, Annie is clearly inferior. She'll have to get her act together before she'll be getting any Christmas presents from me. And that's another thing that's your fault as her mother.
She's not inferior in any way whatsoever. What is wrong with you, Mom? There is no one else in the family who talks about Annie like this.
Just because I'm the only one with the courage to be honest with her doesn't mean I'm the only one who sees the truth. She's an inferior child, plain and simple. Allow me to turn your own question on you, Carrie. What's wrong with you that you can't see how damaged your own child is?
There's nothing wrong with me, Mom. You're the one who's comfortable with calling an 8-year-old girl things like inferior or damaged.
You blind fool. Your inability to face reality is only hurting your daughter's future, you know.
Even if you were right about Annie, which you're not, by the way, but even if you were right, you're still out of your mind for giving presents to all the grandkids but her.
My goodness, you're a greedy one, aren't you? It grows clearer every day where your daughter got her defective personality from. You want her to get all the rewards of being a good child without actually having to be a good child.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's all about me. You hate me. You always hated me, and I knew that before I even married your son.
My goodness, now you're being greedy and ungrateful. I pegged you as an unfitting partner for my son from the first time he introduced you to us. All I've done ever since then is give you piece after piece of valuable advice to better yourself. A simple thank you would suffice.
Yeah, thanks for confirming that this is all about your bizarre hatred of me. I've been putting up with your scorn for all these years because you're my husband's mother, and I wanted to try and have a healthy relationship. I don't care what you say about me. Nothing hurts me anymore. But I will not sit idly by and allow you to treat my daughter the same way. That stops now.
Stop talking about me as if I'm some sort of bully. I've been nothing but sincere in trying to encourage Annie. Someone's got to undo the damage you've done to her after all.
Oh, you're not a bully, are you? Then what do you call it when you look at an 8-year-old girl in the face and tell her she's ugly and stupid and laughing while you say it? Is that what encouragement means to you? Laughing while insulting a little girl? Yeah, you're gonna have to forgive me for not believing you're sincere about anything but tearing Annie and me down.
You think that's an insult? I was only telling her the truth. She is ugly, and she's dreadfully stupid. Both your fault, might I add. Have her stand next to any other girl her age, and there's simply no comparison. She's hideous. Also, she's in the 2nd grade, but she barely even has a 1st grade vocabulary. You should be grateful to me, Carrie. I might just have saved her from a lifetime of disappointment caused by the false expectations you've given her. Most people don't have the courage to tell someone exactly what they need to hear. I took it upon myself as her grandmother to tell her the truth.
You can knock off this sanctimonious act, Mom. No one's buying it. All you are is a...
kicked me out of our house.
Wow, he actually pulled through for me. I knew I could count on him. You sure married a real stand-up guy, Mom.
I knew it. You are the one responsible for all of this. What sort of vile, disgusting lies did you tell my husband about me? He's always so calm and soft-spoken. I don't think I've ever seen him frown up until just now.
I didn't tell him any lies. All I did was tell him exactly what you said and did to my daughter. Unlike you, your husband loves all of his grandchildren equally, without favor. The simple, plain truth was more than enough for him to be angry with you.
He's not just angry, though. He's completely lost his mind. He threw me out of the house. Didn't you see me say that? Take a look at the thermometer, Carrie. It's barely above freezing right now. At this rate, I'm going to be a human popsicle by sundown.
If your husband is as upset as I think he is, I doubt he's going to let you come back inside any time soon. So if I were you, I would focus on finding another place to warm up pretty quickly.
And just where am I supposed to go, Carrie? He just upped and pushed me out the front door. He didn't even give me any time to grab my wallet. All I've got with me is my phone.
Aw, you poor, poor little thing, facing the to your family, it must have been him.
This can't be happening. The warmest reception I got from any of them was simply having the door slammed in my face. But my brother and his wife took turns shouting at me, and my cousin chased me out his front yard while throwing snowballs at me. I'm so confused.
What's there to be confused about? It's simple. They're all disgusted at the way you behaved towards Annie yesterday. What made you think anyone would ever take your side against her to begin with? You're getting exactly the welcome you should expect to get.
I haven't done anything worth leaving me out in the cold like this. After all I've done for those ungrateful fools over the years, this is how they repay me? I spent a king's ransom on presents for my daughter's children this year, and the very next day she tells me that she's disowning me?
Whose money did you spend to buy those presents, Mom? Did you make that money? No, you haven't held a job a single day since you got married. That was all your husband's money. I'm honestly surprised he has any money left at all, considering what a spendthrift you are. Did you expect to get away with verbally abusing a young girl just because you spent someone else's money on a few Christmas presents? Get real.
I am not a spendthrift.
Oh? Then explain to me why every time I see you, you're using a different Gucci handbag. And on top of that, all the shoes in your closet are Jimmy Choo. Your husband told me personally that he was sick and tired of the way you were wasting the money that he had worked so hard to earn. He wanted to leave that money to your grandkids, not so you could impress all the ladies at the bridge club.
He's got no right to criticize.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up,
instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
A lot more lately. He really is one of the most respectable men I have ever met. I can see where my husband got his good qualities from now. It also makes me wonder why in the world he thought to marry that woman in the first place.
Good morning, Lena. I hope you're enjoying your day at work so far. I wanted to make sure I had your work schedule correct. I believe you said that you were working until noon today. Is that right? What would you like to have for lunch? I was just about to start cooking, so if you have any requests, I'd be glad to hear them.
Hey, Mom. I'm sorry, I meant to message you about this earlier, but I got busy. A few hours ago, the person who was supposed to be working this afternoon called in sick. And I'll give you one guess who the boss asked to stay and make up for them.
Oh no, not again.
You guessed it, none other than yours truly. Just my luck.
I suppose this means you won't be home for lunch then.
Yeah, but it gets worse. Unless one of the evening shift people decides to come in early, I'm probably gonna have to stay here until around 6 p.m.
I'm concerned about you, dear. Are you all right? It seems to me that you've been working far too much these days.
No, don't worry about me, I'm fine. It's not like I'm working on a construction site or anything, I'm just the cashier at a convenience store.
Well, if you say so. But what are you going to do for lunch? Will you be able to take a break? Tell me they're not going to make you work straight through to the evening.
No, don't worry. This place is really mindful of labor laws. I just got on break now, so I grabbed a couple sandwiches from the shelves and a can of pop.
Well, that's good to hear. You can't work on an empty stomach. And you've already been working for several hours. I'd hope they give you a break. Without one, you never make it to the evening.
Right? Oh, and by the way, I had a favor to ask of you. Could I have you do a few things for me that I was planning on doing this afternoon?
Of course, dear. What can I do for you?
I put a load of laundry in the washer this morning. Could you hang them up on the line for me? Also, I have a couple things that I'd like you to pick up from the store, if you have time.
That's no trouble at all. You just leave everything around here to me and focus on your work, dear.
I'm so sorry to have to ask you to do so much for me. What would I do without you, Mom?
I'm glad to help out whenever I can. After all, we're living in the same house. It's only natural that we help each other out when we need it. And would you like me to cook dinner for you as well?
Would you mind?
Not at all.
Oh, I feel so bad about this. That's 3 things now that I'm having you do for me. I bet you wish your son would have married a less demanding woman.
Don't be silly, Lena. You're all that I could have asked for. And for the record, I absolutely love cooking for you. No one compliments my food as much as you do. Not even that son of mine. It's like pulling teeth to get that boy to give me a simple thank you.
I have to admit, you're exactly right about him.
I'm incredibly grateful to you, Lena. Dylan can hardly hold down a job for more than a few months at a time. I love my son dearly, but, well, sometimes I'm just not sure what to do with him. But you stay firmly loyal to him in spite of all of that. You're truly a wonderful daughter-in-law, Lena.
Oh, don't be too hard on Dylan. He's not all bad.
He isn't. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. I'm sure that you know more about his good side than even I do. I shouldn't be talking ill of your husband to you like this.
Nah, don't feel bad. If you think that's bad, you should hear the way I talk about him to his face.
Oh dear, you crack me up, Lena.
I'm good, aren't I? But yeah, to be honest, I know that Dylan has caused a lot of trouble for you over the years, so I totally understand where you're coming from. I don't blame you at all. And now it's not just him. I'm on the receiving end of your generosity too. I wish there was some way I could pay you back for your kindness.
You don't need to do anything but continue being the delightful woman that you are. I don't consider it a burden at all to have you living in my house with me. I'm honestly surprised you were so willing to move in with your own mother-in-law so soon after getting married. If my husband, God rest his soul, had asked me to live with his parents, I might have up and divorced him right then and there.
Oh, trust me, I wouldn't have done this if it were anyone but you, Mom. You're the best mother-in-law a girl could ask for.
Now, Lena, flattery isn't going to get you a bigger piece of pie at dinner.
It's not flattery, it's the truth. Whoops, look at the time. Sorry, Mom, I gotta get back to work now.
Oh my goodness, is it that time already? I'm sorry, I ate up your entire break.
Don't worry about it at all. It was nice to talk to you and get my mind off work, and the fact that I still have another several hours to go. But anyway, I'll talk to you later on tonight. See you later, Mom. Hi there, Mom. Are you on the road right now?
Good afternoon, dear. I was just about to get in my car just now. I think I'll be back at the house in about an hour or so.
I'm sorry I couldn't come along and help you clean out your aunt's old house. It must have been difficult doing all that work by yourself.
Oh, I wasn't alone. One of my cousins came along to help as well.
Oh, really? Well, that's great to hear. Many hands make light work, as they say.
Indeed. Also, it makes the time go by quicker to have someone to talk to. If it weren't for her, I probably wouldn't have even been finished with the kitchen at this point. But with the house all cleaned out, I won't have to come by here again. I believe the real estate company will take care of the rest. Thank goodness, too. It's terribly far to have to keep coming down here several times a year.
I'm sorry your aunt passed away.
It was her time, Lena. She's in a better place now. She's been sick for some time, so it's honestly a bit of a relief for the family that her suffering is over.
Is there anything I can do to help you out with the funeral? I can make sandwiches for the luncheon, anything you want.
You are such a generous girl, Lena. But no, you don't need to worry about a thing. It just so happens another of my cousins runs a funeral home, so we're having him take care of everything.
Wow, you sure do have some good connections.
Now, would you like me to pick up something from the store on my way back? My cousin gave me a lovely basket of vegetables from her garden to thank me for helping, but this isn't quite enough to make a meal. Do you need anything from the store, or can I come right home?
No, that's okay. I'm working on fixing dinner myself right now. It should be hot and ready by the time you get home. It's something I've never made before, so I hope you like it.
I can't wait.
Also, once you get home, there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. Well, really, it's just something that I thought you should know.
Is that right? Well, that makes me curious. Is it something you can't tell me by text?
No, not really, I guess.
If that's the case, then could you go ahead and tell me right now? The anticipation is going to kill me on my way home.
All right, if that's what you want. It's about Dylan.
Oh dear. What has that boy done this time? It doesn't involve the police, does it?
No, it's not that serious, although it is pretty serious. Dylan came home from work early a while ago.
I see. And?
And when I asked him why, he said that it's because he quit his job today.
Oh no. He quit his job again? That's the third time this year.
I know. I'm really sorry about this, Mom.
No, Lena, you don't have anything at all to apologize. I'm the one who should be apologizing to you. You don't deserve to deal with my son's foolishness. Goodness gracious, What has gotten into that boy? He promised me that he would be able to keep his job, but he didn't even last 2 months.
He told me that it was because he and his boss got into an argument.
Dear me, why am I not surprised? That boy is going to give me a heart attack, honestly. It would be one thing if he were being mistreated by his coworkers or forced to work in unpleasant conditions, but I don't think he's ever quit for a respectable reason. It's always some nonsense like there aren't any good restaurants nearby or the air fresheners in the bathroom smell too strongly.
It gets worse, though. I didn't know this, but apparently he was skipping work a lot these last few weeks. So even when he gets his paycheck, it's probably not even going to be half of what he usually brings home.
Oh, Dylan. Thank you for telling me about that, Lena. I can cover all of our living expenses for the time being. Don't you worry about a thing.
No, I can't ask you to do that for us. That's too much. You've already done so much to support us. I've been talking to my boss, and I think I might start working full-time in order to bring in more money while Dylan looks for work.
Nonsense. You'll do no such thing. You're going through fertility treatments, Lena, and you're already working overtime so frequently. I'm afraid of what impact going full-time will have on your health.
It's all right, Mom. At this rate, even if I do manage to get pregnant, we won't be able to support the baby once they're born.
I suppose you do have a point. Listen, Lena, you are an incredibly smart, hardworking, respectful woman, and you're still quite young too. You still got your entire life ahead of you. As much as it pains me to say something like this, are you sure you want to stay together with Dylan? I wouldn't begrudge you at all if you decided that you want to leave.
I'm not concerned about myself, Mom. I'm more concerned about what would happen to Dylan if I were to leave him.
You don't need to do that, though. You know how grateful I am for the support that you've given to Dylan since the two of you have been together. But that's not a burden that you need to hear. I understand that you're concerned about his future, but I think you should think about yours. This is something that a mother should never say, but I don't think that Dylan is ever going to get himself together. The only reason I even allow him in my house is because you're with him. If not for that, I'd kick him out in a heartbeat.
You really think so?
I do, Lena. Again, I'm sorry for talking ill of your husband like this, but if you're planning on remaining married to him, then it's going to require an awful lot of work from both of us. If things don't change for Dylan very quickly, and I doubt they will, then we'll never be able to depend on him for a stable income. That means it'll be up to you and me to support all three of us.
I'm so sorry that you have to worry about all of this.
Stop apologizing, dear. It's that good-for-nothing Dylan who ought to be apologizing. But remember, my savings will only go so far before they dry up completely. I can't support all of us forever. You need to think about that before you make your decision to stay with him.
I see. Well, thank you for being honest with me, Mom. I'll do some thinking about what you told me. Could you give me just a little time to come up with an answer?
Lena, open up the door this instant.
You know that's not happening.
What's the meaning of this? I was shocked when I came home to discover that you had placed all of my things down by the road. But the moment I stepped inside, you stole my keys from me and pushed me back out? I don't understand. Are you trying to kick me out of my own house?
Trying? Seeing as though I'm inside and you're not, I'd say it was a complete success. Don't sell me short.
Explain yourself, Lena. I want answers.
It's simple. I've decided to unilaterally terminate our arrangement. I don't want to live with you anymore.
But why, Lena? Why?
Do I have to spell it out for you? You've completely run out of money.
What? What do you mean?
Don't play dumb with me, Mom. I know that you're broke. While you went out to the store just now, I took the liberty of checking your bank account balances.
You what? You took my ATM card?
Yep, and the balances of your account was, for all intents and purposes, 0.
I can't believe you would do such a thing without asking me. You mean to tell me that you're kicking me out of the house because I don't have any more money?
Why do you think we agreed to move in with you in the first place? Do you actually think we enjoyed your company? You think we wanted to spend the best years of our lives tied down to some old woman? No, it was only because you had money to burn. And boy, did we burn it. Thanks to your generosity, we were able to do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. I have taken so many vacations with your money, I've forgotten everywhere I've been.
I don't understand. You said you were working all this time. When did you have the time to take all those vacations?
Oh my God. Did you really think that I was working? Working is for losers.
No. So you were only pretending to go to work all this time? But then, where did you get the money to pay your share of the groceries and utilities?
Where do you think? From you. You remember how I came crying to you about how hard we were trying to have a baby but just couldn't conceive? You offered to pay for our fertility treatments. So we were getting a couple $1,000s a month from you in addition to the money I was taking from your account.
I don't believe this. You were lying about going through fertility treatments too? But what about the doctor's note you showed me saying you were infertile?
It was fake, you idiot!
So, you're really not infertile?
Hell if I know. I don't want kids. I've never even gotten tested. Why would I want to tie myself down with kids when I was having so much fun with your money?
And Dylan, am I right in assuming that he was aware of your deception?
Of course he did. Who do you think came up with the idea of living off your money in the first place? It was all him. He's the one who came up with the idea to fake getting fertility treatments too.
But why? Why would you lie to me like this? It doesn't make any sense. I've been nothing but generous to you. I invited you into my home. Everything that I had was yours. I thought of you as more than just a daughter-in-law, Lena. You were every bit my real daughter. So why? Why would you betray me?
Look, Mom, it's very simple. You have no idea how hard things are for our generation. Job market sucks, the housing market sucks, the stock market is beyond our reach. I don't think anyone I know will ever own their own home. Meanwhile, what are you old people doing? Nothing. Abso-freaking-lutely nothing. All you do is sit in your house that's completely paid off already so you don't have to pay rent, collect your Social Security checks, which my generation is paying for despite the fact that we will never get it back, and spend your money on doctor's visits and whatever other random crap you want. Do you have any idea how much the government spends on you oldies every year? Well, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not participating in a BS system that only exists to extract resources from me and pump them into people who are going to die within a few years anyway. I'm going to tear down that system brick by brick. And I'm going to start by taking what's left of your assets. You don't need or deserve them anymore.
So that's it? You were really after my money from the very beginning?
Didn't you think it was a bit suspicious when I was so enthusiastic about living together with you? The signs were all there. It's your fault for being so dense that you couldn't see them.
I expected that my son may someday pull a stunt like this. But I thought better of you, Lena. I thought you were different. I suppose I thought wrong.
You are way too trusting, Mom. Seriously. I mean, my God, I didn't even have to do any work at all to sell all the lies I told you. You ate them all right up. I was hoping to keep up the facade a little while longer. We were actually planning to keep on living with you like this for about 5 more years or so. But man, your money started disappearing faster than I ever expected. And like I said, it's now close enough to zero that I don't see any reason to keep you around anymore.
I see.
Oh, and just to cut you off, don't even think about playing the victim here. You were planning on doing the exact same thing to us that we're doing to you now. We just pulled it off better.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. What's the point in hiding it anymore? You were planning on forcing us to support you when your pathetic retirement account finally ran out, weren't you?
That's not true at all. I know my son better than you do. Did you really think I was going to count on him to support me? I'm not foolish enough to do that. No, the reason I invited the two of you to live with me was because I was concerned about you, Lena. I wanted to do whatever I could to ensure you didn't need to worry about food or shelter.
Aw, aren't you sweet? It's too bad that sweet nature of yours is exactly what made it so easy to trick you.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so are we done here? You get what's going on? You're completely useless to us now that you're broke, so we're kicking you out of our house. Oh, and you can go ahead and write us out of your will if you want. God knows you're not going to have anything to leave behind when you finally die.
Is that so? If that's what you want, then that's exactly what I'll do. You might just come to regret those words, though.
What reason would I possibly have to regret anything? We won, you lost. It was a total victory. Now, we're going to sell this massive house of yours and live off that money for another couple years.
You're going to sell the house? That's impossible, though. I already sold it.
What?
I already sold the house. I signed the contract with the real estate company a week ago. I waited 3 whole months for Dylan to get a job, but as far as I could tell, he wasn't even looking. And yes, I was fully aware of how quickly my savings were dwindling. I decided to sell the house in order to produce enough money for me to give some to the two of you to help you find a new place to live. Then after that, we would part ways. I've looked after Dylan for almost 30 years now. I can't keep treating him like a child.
But this is the first I'm hearing of this plan.
That's because I deliberately didn't tell you about it. I couldn't risk Dylan finding out that I was going to be receiving a massive influx of money now, could I? Sure, I trusted you to keep a secret until a few moments ago, but there was always a chance that you would let it slip. Now that the house has been sold, I was planning on telling you about the whole situation this evening. So I truly appreciate your honesty. If you hadn't gone and kicked me out of the house just now, I might not have known about your true nature until it was too late. It seems as though God is still watching out for me after all.
But what about the deed? The deed is still over here and you're safe. You can't sell the house without the deed, and I will never give it to you.
Check in the safe if you'd like. It's not there. I took it over to the real estate agent this morning.
Oh. Well, can we talk about this? I'll open up the door for you. You can come inside. I'll even help you carry all your stuff back to your room. Let's all sit down and have a nice family conference about this, okay?
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why not?
Because I'm already in a taxi, driving away from the house. It's terribly chilly this evening. If I stayed outside any longer, I was afraid I'd catch a cold. The two of you need to hurry up and pack your things as soon as possible. The real estate company will be here to change the locks in just a few weeks.
Mom, are you there? Please pick up the phone. I need to talk to you about Dylan. This is serious.
Stop attempting to contact me, Lena. There's not a thing you can say to make me change my mind.
I know, but Dylan is in big trouble.
I see now that it was a mistake not to block you the very night that I left the house. And I will be remedying that mistake shortly. You need to be out of that house by the deadline the real estate company gave you. I have nothing else to say to you.
Please, don't block me yet. I'm begging you. It won't take long, but I really need to tell you something.
Make it quick.
Dylan is really deep in debt.
He borrowed money again? That boy never learns. I'm not surprised in the least. After all, he's enough of a louse to steal money from his own mother. I thought you were aware of his true nature.
So did I, but it turns out that he wasn't completely honest with me.
Oh, you poor thing. Is that all? Can I block you now?
No, not yet. I need help. What am I supposed to do about all this? We don't have any way to pay back this much money.
And you thought you could come to me for help? You really are shameless, aren't you? You'll have to figure it out by yourselves.
We can't. That's why I'm talking to you right now. Look, we're really, really sorry for stabbing you in the back, Mom. You were nothing but good to us, and we betrayed you. But please, can't you please help us out one last time? Dylan took out a ton of money because he thought he could pay it back after selling your house.
That was rather stupid of him, wasn't it? It's not my problem, though, and it doesn't have to be your problem either. You could always leave him. It's his debt, not yours.
If I could, I would.
Uh-oh, why can't you leave him?
He made me his guarantor on the loan. He even forged my signature on the forms. If I divorced Dylan and he skipped town, then the bank would come after me next.
My goodness, that was underhanded of him.
Right? I'm his wife. I never thought he would do something like that to me.
He did the same thing to me several years ago.
Really?
Indeed, the exact same thing. He took out a loan and forged my signature. I had to pay off the entire thing.
Wow. Isn't there a way I can prove that it wasn't my signature?
Been there, done that. I believe you'll find that the lawyer's fees alone will cost you more than the amount of his debt like I did. And forgery is just about the only thing Dylan's good at, so you'd be hard-pressed to prove your case.
So I'm stuck then. Oh, please, Mom, I promise I'll pay you back. You got money from selling the house, right? Just a little bit of that would be fine.
Sorry, Lena, but I've fallen victim to far too many of your lies to trust you anymore. For all I know, this is no different than your fertility treatment.
I'm not lying this time. I can show you the contract.
I'm not interested in seeing it. Even if the contract is real, I don't want to pay Dylan's debts for him.
I should never have trusted him.
There's no honor amongst thieves, as the saying goes. If I may make a recommendation, once you manage to pay off his loan, I suggest you divorce him as quickly as possible.
You don't have to tell me twice. I want to get rid of him as soon as possible. So, can't you give me a little money to make that happen? Just a little bit?
Don't make me repeat myself any more than I already have. I'm not giving either of you anything, not one single cent. And it's too late for apologies, so don't bother. You know, this is strangely relieving for me. With this, I can walk away from the two of you without any regret. Thank you, Lena. This never would have happened if you hadn't kicked me out of my house. The two of them ended up leaving town that very night. It seems Dylan borrowed a rather large amount of money though, so I doubt they'll let him get away for long. As for me, I'm sure you're concerned about my finances, but not to worry. The truth is that I hid most of my assets in a separate account before Dylan and Lena moved in, and all of that money is still safe and sound. I learned not to trust my son when he forged my signature on that loan contract years ago, and I wasn't about to be robbed by him a second time. It did hurt me deeply to be betrayed by Lena, who I was sure I could trust. But as I told Lena before, her treachery was what finally freed me from Dylan's clutches, so in the end, I'm glad things happened the way it did. From now on, I hope to spend my remaining time on this earth in peace and quiet.
Hey, Sean. Did you already eat the lunch I made for you today? I just wanted to know how it was.
Hey, Allie. Yeah, your lunch was delicious. Allie, thanks for all the effort making my lunch, as well as even though you're always busy working too.
Well, I make lunch for myself anyway, so it's not a problem for me at all. But I was just worried if that amount was always enough for you. I do try to prepare more rice for you than my lunch, but wasn't sure if it was the right amount to make you full.
Yeah, it's just enough for me.
Well, that's good to know, because I've never really cooked any meals for other people besides myself before. So I was worried if it suits your tastes and was enough for you.
Come to think of it, guess you didn't really cook much when we were just going out.
Yeah, I know. I did try to avoid cooking because someone had actually told me before that I was bad at cooking when I was still in my teens, and I've just been afraid to cook for people ever since then.
Oh, really? Well, I think you're doing just fine with cooking.
Well, since I wanted to overcome that, I did actually take cooking lessons after I started working. And I did cook for myself every day, so I should have gotten pretty used to cooking now.
You don't have to worry so much, because everyone is not good at cooking from the beginning, you know?
Yeah, I know, but if someone says things like that to you directly in your face, it is pretty shocking. Though I've been trying hard going through all of that, honestly, I'm still not confident about cooking yet.
Hey, I have a good idea. Why don't you ask my mom to teach you about cooking? And then you can learn her recipes as well.
Oh, really? Your mother's good at cooking?
Yeah, I've eaten other people's dishes and eaten meals at other restaurants, but honestly, I do think my mom's cooking is the best of all.
Really? Is that so? If you say so, I would like to eat your mother's dishes someday.
Well, that's no problem, because you can eat it anytime you want. Do you want to go visit her over the weekends? I'm sure she would be happy to teach you anything about cooking.
Sure, if your mother's available, I'd love to visit her someday. Oh, but shouldn't we invite your mother to our house before that? Since we started living together, we haven't invited either of our parents to our house yet, right? I was just thinking that maybe that should come first.
Well, I understand what you mean, but it's not like we built a new house or anything, so I don't think we have to go all the way to invite them there. Of course. To say that they want to visit us, I don't mind, but actually, I was thinking that it's just about time I wanted to eat my mom's dishes, so you should just come visit her and might as well eat her dishes with me together.
Do you really think your mother's dishes are that delicious compared to mine? And I will be able to become better at cooking them?
No, it's not like I'm saying that your dishes aren't good. It's just that my mom's dishes are probably too good.
Oh, really? Well then, I'll try my best to follow your mother's cooking as much as possible.
Oh, really? That's great, Allie. If you can follow my mom's recipes and make meals like her, then it will definitely improve my quality of life. Because honestly, I do think my mom's cooking is the most delicious in the world. Oh no, can't wait to eat her meals, now that I started thinking about it.
Really? The best in the world? Well, that's certainly pressure for me. Honestly, you've set a high standard for me, but I'll try my best, okay?
But Allie, before that, I think you should know. You see, my mom can basically do anything, so I don't think you should compare yourself to her. She's so perfect at cleaning up our house, doing cooking, and she even has a successful career. She even helped me graduate from university, taking care of me as a single parent. So she just handles everything so well and is such a perfect person.
Wow, that's really amazing. Raising a child as a single parent, doing housework and working so hard, handling everything perfectly all at once by herself.
Yeah, I know. She's just a perfect mom and I really do respect her for that. But honestly, I think you, Allie, have just the same potential as my mom too. Just like my mom, you work hard and have a career. And as for cooking, though you're not at my mom's level yet, I think you're getting pretty close to her.
Do you really think so? Well, after hearing all about her, it does seem like you really like your mother, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's because she was my only parent and we were so close together. I've grown up to now, thanks to my mom, and I've always appreciated that. And of course, all children love their parents, you know? Hey, Allie, do you not like your parents so much?
Of course, it's not like I hate them, and I respect them as well, but I don't think my feelings towards my parents are as strong as yours, Sean.
Well, I guess there aren't many women like my mom anywhere. She's just so amazing, I guess I can't help saying that. Well then, I will go ahead and tell my mom that we'll come visit her next time. And I'll tell her to prepare meals for us to eat.
Okay, thanks. Well then, good luck at work during the afternoon, too.
Thanks. You too, Allie. And just remember, I'm coming home around the same time as usual. So can you prepare dinner for me? Hey, Allie. I've just got to tell you about this. It's about this morning's breakfast, but do you understand the reason why I stopped eating it?
It's because you didn't like it, right?
Well, yeah, but it's just that the soup you made just tasted the worst of all.
Really? Did the soup taste that bad?
It just tasted so disgusting. How can you make such a soup like that?
Well, I did cook the soup from broth, so it should have had some flavor to it.
Well then, why does it taste so bad? Did you mistake the cooking procedures? I know you tasted Mom's soup last month when she made it for us, so I can't understand why it turns out this way when you try cooking it. Remember, you said you will try following her cooking, but this is off to a bad start. What did you actually learn from eating her meals?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just so nervous meeting her, and her dishes were already made when we arrived at your house, so I even asked her how she made it casually, but she said everything is just made roughly and nothing is really special about it. So I really didn't have a chance to ask her about the details of her recipe and procedures of cooking.
But can't you imagine how it tastes and what the ingredients are just by eating it? I suppose you would be able to notice what's missing from your cooking. I do think you have enough cooking experience from the past to be able to recognize that. Hey, wait. Or was it a lie that you said you went to cooking lessons? Because I'm starting to doubt the fact that you actually did now.
No, believe me, I did take cooking lessons before. So I don't think I'm mistaking the basic procedures about cooking because I've learned that from my lessons and past experience. But I just can't understand why everything tastes so different from your mother's cooking. I've tried so many ways, but it all just doesn't seem to work out.
Hey, I really don't want to say these things to you, but I'm going to have to say this for your sake. Allie, I have to admit that your cooking doesn't taste good.
What?
It's not like it's horrible, but it just doesn't taste good. I've been trying not to say this to you, but I think you should work on your cooking more. If it's that quality, I suppose buying already prepared dishes at the supermarket would be much better.
What? Does that mean you've been eating all my meals this time thinking they were not good?
You should at least thank me for being kind, always eating it all up even if it was not good. As we are newlyweds, I hesitated being honest with you about your cooking, but just the thought that this is going to continue this way, it's getting a little too tough for me to bear with it.
Honestly, is my cooking that bad?
Well, I can at least eat it, but if I compare it with my mom's dishes, then there's definitely a big difference between it. Because I've grown up always eating those delicious dishes that she made for me. So I guess I just do have a higher standard, and it's difficult for me to eat dishes that are lower quality than that. You ate my mom's dishes, and you actually thought they were delicious too, right?
Yeah, they were all delicious, but honestly, that's all I thought, and I guess I didn't think it was the best in the world or beats any other restaurant.
Oh really? That's so. Allie, I'm a bit disappointed. I guess you have no sense of taste. That's probably why you've been told that your cooking is bad. Perhaps you haven't eaten much homemade dishes at home? Or Allie, was your mother bad at cooking too? I guess that's probably why your cooking doesn't improve at all.
Hey, Sean, isn't that an impolite thing to say to me? I've been trying to bear with your rude comments, but it's going past the limits,
Well, I think that you're the one who's impolite. Because remember, you said that my mom's cooking was not good.
Hey, don't get me wrong, because I didn't say that it wasn't good. I just said that it wasn't like it was the best dishes in the world like you said. And I think there are other people who can make good dishes as well.
I don't think you have the right to talk about cooking, you bad cook. I just think that you have a bad tongue.
Hey, I just think you've been saying too many rude things to me lately. My cooking might not be the perfect taste like your mother's dishes that you demand, but I want you to understand that I'm trying my best to get closer to that as much as possible.
But if you continue to cook that way, it's just going to produce garbage.
Excuse me? You're saying that my cooking is just garbage? I can't believe this. How can you say such a horrible thing?
Well, if you compare it to my mom's dishes, then I guess I'll have to say it is. And remember, that you were the one who said that you wanted to be able to follow her recipe, so I want you to keep your promises that you made. You know I wouldn't have said such a thing if I knew your cooking was going to improve.
Well, I'll try my best to do so, but then you have to promise me to do this for me as well.
Huh? Promise to do what?
Even though we're both working, I'm the only one who's doing all the chores in the household. And you basically have done nothing or even tried to help me out. So I'm asking you, can you at least help clean the house? I think you should start taking responsibility for some of the chores around the house too. Because it's just tough for me to do everything for you in our house because I'm also working.
What? Why do I have to clean up the house? Because my mom was capable of doing that all by herself, even if she was working. So I just don't see why you can't do that all by yourself.
Huh? Were you not thinking of sharing those responsibilities between us even after we got married? You just thought that I will do all of them for you? Remember, I'm not your mother, Sean.
Of course I know that. But if it were my mom, she would have done the household chores more perfectly, though.
Hey, Sean, after listening to all your comments about your mother, I'm starting to think that you may be a mama's boy.
What? No! You're trying to insult me because you just can't do things properly.
Because you've just been comparing me with your mother all the time, and I'm getting sick of that.
So you are just jealous of my mom, aren't you? Hey, you shouldn't blame things on people just because you can't do it. Allie, I'm really disappointed to know that you actually were that kind of person. I do feel like I was fooled by you now. If I were going to be insulted by you like this, I guess I shouldn't have gotten married with you in the first place.
Huh? You should know that I have even more things to say about this to you.
Anyway, can you please make something decent for tonight's dinner? A wife has to support her husband's health by what he eats, you know?
If you have so many complaints about my cooking, why don't you try cooking for yourself?
Excuse me? Did you just give up what you said about being a better cook? You're all just words, you know?
All right, fine.
What kind of behavior is that? I'm trying to be honest saying these things to you for your sake.
Anyway, I'm working right now, so I'm just not in the mood to listen to this. Can we just continue this conversation tonight when we get home? Hello, Maggie. Is it all right to talk to you now? Oh, hello, Allie. Sure, it's okay to talk to you now, since I'm just having my lunch break. But what did you want to talk about? Is something wrong? I'm sorry to contact you while you're at work, but I just wanted to ask you about cooking. Ask me about cooking? Well, I'm not sure if I can be any help to you about that. Maggie, can you please teach me how to cook your soup? Like the ingredients and the cooking procedures to make it. Since I visited your house the other day and had your soup you served me, I've been trying to make your soup for Sean by different ways, but he just says that it doesn't taste the same as yours and doesn't eat it at all. Really? Are you saying that my son is complaining about your cooking? Well, that's a horrible thing for him to do because he should be thankful for having you make meals for him. Well, they're not complaints, but he continues to say that he likes your soup better than mine. I see. Well, I guess that's just easy to make. Because all you have to do is pour hot water in it. It's just that simple. What? It's just hot water? Are you saying that it was just instant food? Yes, that's absolutely right. You didn't notice that it was? No, I actually didn't at all. Wow, I'm so surprised to know that. Can you please tell me which brand it is and where you bought it? Basically, I'm not very particular with my choices, but I do use food from private brands of supermarkets a lot. It's something you eat every day, and, just eating soup is good for your health, right? So I'm just using the cheapest one sold at the supermarket. Oh, really? Perhaps you were expecting a perfect answer like I was making the soup from broth, didn't you? And like I'm going through taking time and effort for each cooking procedure? I'm so sorry that I didn't meet your expectations and don't have any good tips for cooking. No, it's not like I was expecting that, but since Sean was saying that you were really good at cooking, I just thought there must be so many complicated cooking procedures to make those delicious dishes. Wait, Sean said that I'm a good cook? Oh, you've got to be kidding. That's such a surprise. But all the dishes you made for me last time I visited were really delicious. Didn't you notice that all the food that I served are basically prepared food from the supermarket? Oh, but when you came to visit me, I did buy those dishes at the department store because it was such a special occasion. So they may have tasted better than what I usually buy. Honestly, what I actually made was just only the salad. You see, Allie, I have always been bad at cooking. Because I was a single parent and just didn't have any time to cook. I'm so sorry. Sean must have been misunderstanding this situation all throughout his life, and I'm just so surprised to realize that now. Well, it does seem like that. If it's okay with you, can I go ahead and tell Sean that you've been buying prepared food from the supermarket? Of course that's fine with me. I've just always thought that he knew all about this, because he should have been the one to notice that I was busy all the time since we were so close. Unfortunately, he does still think that everything served at home was homemade dishes by you, so that's why he said that my cooking wasn't good. What? He said the dishes you made were not good? Yes, that's true. He even actually said it was just garbage. What? Garbage? Is that what he actually said? Oh, my dear Allie, I'm just so disappointed that he would say such horrible things to you. I'm so sorry about that. I guess if I had taught him how to do the household chores properly from way before when we were living together, this wouldn't have happened, probably. Since I kept doing everything for him, I guess he just didn't understand what you're going through now. I feel so bad about this. Oh, this is all my fault. No, not at all. Maggie, please don't apologize, because this is not your fault. I just started cooking after I started working, so I don't have that much cooking experience to make quality dishes for him. And I guess Sean was just misunderstanding the whole situation about cooking. So I guess this is a situation we must solve between ourselves. But as he's been saying so many horrible things to me ever since we got married, honestly, I'm having a hard time putting up with it and starting to have difficulties trusting him now. Oh no, Sean's been acting like that lately after you got married? I'm so sorry that my son is just so thoughtless. Of course you can tell him all about this and just tell him straight how you've been thinking. Yes, now I think I can do so. Thank you for understanding, Maggie. I'll tell Sean everything about how I've been feeling. I'm so glad I was able to talk to you.
Hey, Allie? Please come back.
I can't believe this. I've only gone out for a week, but you're already whining about this? That is so miserable.
I'm so sorry, Allie. Please, let me apologize. I was wrong about all of this. I want you to understand that I just didn't know that handling all the household chores was this difficult.
Well, it's about time you noticed. I've always been the one doing the cooking, cleaning up, and the laundry while I was working all by myself. But even so, you just kept insulting me, saying that my cooking was so bad. And even said that it was garbage. When you should have been thankful of even being served meals cooked by me.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't imagine that my mom's soup was just instant food.
And not just her soup, but even her main dishes were prepared food from the supermarket. And you've been thinking that her meals were the best in the world all this time? What do you have to say about that?
I know. I feel so embarrassed about that. I've been doing all the chores by myself now. I finally realized how tough this was and what you were actually going through. I was definitely wrong about this and said really terrible things to you.
Well, good then. But remember, I'm never forgiving you for saying those things, like I have a bad tongue or my mom is a bad cook.
I know. My mom even scolded me about that. I was relying on you too much. So I'm regretting what I said to you from the bottom of my heart.
Are you regretting this because your mother told you to do so?
No, of course not. I do really think that I was wrong, but I do think it is my mom's fault for being so perfect. Though she had taken care of me as a single parent, I've never gone through any tough experiences and I never had any financial troubles either thanks to her continuous efforts. I really appreciate her for what she has done for me up until now.
So what? Don't you understand that has nothing to do with me, right? And it's not just the insults you said about my cooking that I can't forgive you about. It was so stressful that you always compared everything I do with your mother.
What? I do think I only compared you with her cooking and nothing else.
I can't believe this. You're saying that you don't remember any of this? Whatever I do, you've always been comparing me with your mother in our daily lives. Like how I fold the laundry is different from your mother, and saying that the cleanup procedures are different from hers. And that she always finished up the household chores before going to work. Whatever I say, you said that your mother would understand. You just had a habit of saying that, comparing everything to your mother's way. I'm just fed up with listening to all of that any further.
Well, you've got to believe me that I didn't intend to hurt you by doing that. But you know that I've been with her for a long time when I was living with my mom, so since she was always there close to me, I guess I just can't help that.
Well, I can't just tolerate with your excuse saying that you can't help it. And I've already had enough of this. Honestly, I'm not confident enough now that I can continue this marriage with you anymore.
What? Does that mean you're actually going to divorce me?
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually thinking about a divorce. I've been thinking about many things all during this week, but comparing everything with your mother has been so annoying since we got married. And you also said that my cooking was bad, and there were times when you didn't eat what I made at all, right? I couldn't forgive you for that either.
I promise I will eat everything you cook from now on. And I don't mind if you serve instant food either.
I just realized that it was so meaningless to put so much effort into cooking meals for you, Sean. I should have bought prepared foods at the supermarket in the first place like your mother always did. because prepared foods sold are quite delicious these days.
I think that is a little, because I actually don't like prepared food much.
But remember, you're the one who actually said that it's the best food in the world up until now. So I think that should be enough for you, and preparing homemade dishes is just meaningless.
No, come to think of it now, I think your meals were actually pretty good.
Well, that's too late to mention after going through all of this. Because I was particular about selecting high-quality ingredients and seasonings for the meals I cook for you, and was putting a lot of effort into cooking so that you would say it's delicious. But that was all meaningless because you just thought my cooking was like garbage. Can you actually imagine how I felt being told that? I just really felt useless every day.
Hey, Allie, just listen. I need you to calm down and think this through more carefully. Don't divorce me by such a stupid reason. Because it's not like I did something crucial like having an affair with someone. I don't see why you're bringing up a divorce just against this.
What? Did you say this is stupid? Well, I just can't accept the fact that you can say that this is all stupid. Like having an affair with someone or being hit by violence. Even if it's not a crucial reason like this, I just couldn't take this any longer and still even thought that I wanted to divorce you. To make you understand, I was hurt just as bad as if you had actually had an affair with someone.
Allie, I am so sorry. I'm really serious about this. Please let me apologize to you. I will even get down on my knees to apologize and do anything you say. So please don't divorce me. I definitely can't tell Mom about this, because I know she'll be shocked if she hears that I had to divorce you.
Oh, there you go again. It's always about your mother, isn't it? If your mother is just so important to you, why don't you just give up on marriage and continue to stay with her? Actually, I do recall that you didn't even mention about your mother before we got married. I suppose you were trying not to mention about that and hide that from me because you didn't want me to know that you were a mama's boy, didn't you? Now I guess I'm actually the one who thinks I was fooled by you. And as you said to me before, if I knew this was happening, I shouldn't have married you in the first place. After that, thanks to my mother-in-law who helped persuade my husband, who was reluctant to get the divorce, we finally got divorced. As my mother-in-law realized that my husband was a mama's boy to some extent, she made a promise not to see my husband until he was able to do the basic household chores on his own. But as a result, my husband got so depressed that he couldn't see his mother and just stayed home in bed from the impact of the divorce and missing his mother. He was even absent from work for a while without reporting to his company and eventually had to quit his job too. As he still didn't do any of the chores during that period as well, his house became so dirty that my husband himself started to smell so horribly. My mother-in-law was in despair when I met her, being so shocked to have created such a monster who couldn't do anything by himself. However, as she thought that it was going to cause further trouble to the neighborhood if she continues to leave him in a situation like that, it seems that she's going to have her big brother take care of my husband for a while. It seems that my mother-in-law was also thinking of training my husband strictly to be able to do things on his own, but she just knew that being with her wouldn't be a punishment for my husband and wouldn't do him any good. And as it seems that her brother is a strict person, she was relieved that he accepted to take care of him since my husband will be properly trained by him. Even though he's my ex-husband that I divorced, I do still think that he's a really troublesome person from the bottom of my heart. Though I've cut off my relationship with him, I still do have coffee with my mother-in-law sometimes as we've become good friends. Because I do respect her for what she's done for my ex-husband as a mother and with her successful working career. We're getting along with each other as she teaches me a lot of valuable things to learn as a senior of life to look up to. As I do understand that this is a really strange situation for us, but I enjoy being with her so much that it does make me think that I may have gotten married to my husband just to meet my mother-in-law. Although I had to go through many tough times for this, I guess meeting my mother-in-law was one thing I need to appreciate about this marriage and divorce. And I'm really thankful for my mother-in-law for always being so considerate and supportive, continuing this relationship with me after thinking about what she's gone through with her son, too. As it might take a while for me to completely recover from this divorce, as my hurt feelings still haven't been healed, and I can't think of having a new relationship with someone yet, but I will try to keep doing what I can now, gradually, step by step, so I can eventually move forward with a positive mind, hoping I can enjoy my new life waiting ahead of me. Thank you for watching Peep Talk videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to leave any comments. Please visit us again to check out the next video.